Does anyone else always hit record and it says mark 1? Like you always mark it by accident? I always do that.
I don't have the...
Oh, okay. Never mind.
I got an
No.
PC.
No, we don't.
No one does that.
No one does that. That's weird.
You're the only person who does that.
Welcome to What a Time to Be Alive, the only podcast counting down everything this week that made you say, what a time to be alive. And now, Patrick Monahan, Kath Barbadoro, and Eli Uden.
Folks, welcome to What a Time to Be Alive, the only podcast that can't say anything this week that makes you say the thing that's the title of the podcast. I'm Patrick Monahan.
I'm Kath Barbadoro.
I'm Eli Uden.
Hello.
Man, I'm saying it right now. If we ever do a live show in New Orleans, we got to get Naughty Professor to come perform that, and we got to walk out wearing big peak lapel suits in like purple and you know, I'm just shimmying out on stage. I don't know. That song really hit me for some reason at this moment.
I'm excited. I can say this because this is, yeah. First of all, we should do a show in New Orleans. New Orleans is so fun. Very cheap tickets, plane tickets to get there from here. Really good time. Number two, I can say this because the shows have passed. We're doing Tootsie for Master Pancake this week, and John, the Master Pancake guy, got us all red sequin dresses and wigs and big glasses to wear out in our entrance, and I'm very excited about it. It's going to be real good.
It's those sequins. So it's going to be so fun. You're going to take a photo after.
The other two people on the show are two like 6 foot tall plus men also.
Yeah.
So it's going to be good.
You got to take a photo after, like under the seats, of how many whatever sequins got rubbed off over the course of the show or whatever. Usher brushing sequins together, you know. Man.
Sequins not as big a part of that movie as you would think, based on the poster. Really not that.
Yeah.
That dress not integral to the plot of Tootsie. Turns out
sequins are. I feel like both like. Kind of, but running your hand over sequins is it's very like armor-esque, you know? It feels very
shark
it
skin.
feels very armadillo, yeah. Very powerful, you know, for a very glittery substance. But, you know, maybe that's the secret to them, is both armor and glitter in equal measure.
They're very scratchy. They're not like fun. They're not fun to wear, I would say.
Yeah.
Even with a lining, it's pretty scratchy. But you do get to look, you know, like the human equivalent of jangling keys in front of a baby. So that's cool. That is nice.
Man, put on a sequin suit, do a dance for a baby. That baby is good for a week at least in terms of entertainment. Yeah. I was wondering if there are like high quality sequins that like higher end clothes, but I don't think there are. I don't think anyone's producing those. I think there's just, you know, that are like less scratchy or something, but I think you're probably just getting sequins.
I think there's like beads. I think that's like the high-end version of sequins, I think, is beads. I think they're just kind of plastic no matter what.
Where is sequins made? The bad news for the sequin community, for the sparkly dress community. Sequin prices skyrocketing.
Well,
one sequin now.
People don't know they take them off a rare sparkly animal, and it really hurts them.
Oh, yeah,
it doesn't kill them, but it
product.
really hurts. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Kopi Luwak. It's a civet cat eats eats the sequins. They're microplastics. They're just That's I'm getting ahead of it. I'm not eating, everyone else is eating microplastics. I'm eating sequins. Just
those
going
are some
all
macroplastics.
Yeah, I'm just eating plastic at this point.
Going Mr. Manjatu mode.
I can't hear about that anymore.
I don't
care. I can't hear about the microplastics. You got to solve that without me. You don't. Yeah. I don't need to weigh in. There's too much going on.
I got how much do I have in my brain already? That sucks.
Yeah,
I care. Guess we'll see what the effects are. I'm not sure what to say.
Right? How am I supposed to respond to this? What do you want?
Do you have a way to pull it out without killing me? If not, all right.
Yeah, like I'm sorry that happened to the planet, but for me personally, when they're like, "You're full of microplastics," it's just like, well, okay,
I'll deal with that when I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. Right now, I don't know.
Yeah, what do you want to like strip down and get on a hospital bed like you're taking out porcupine quills? You're gonna do like revert like a Wolverine surgery to take all the microplastics out of me?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, unless if there's like a plastic Magneto, then we're all in trouble because that dude could take us all out pretty easily.
Just ripping holes in our brain, pulling out all those pellets or whatever's in there. I imagine pellets. I actually imagine cut up credit cards is what I imagine.
Yeah.
Just like microscopic, like you look through a microscope and it's a bunch of little like credit card corners with like a 1/8 of a MasterCard logo on it.
Can see part of someone's CVV.
Yep.
3 digits. Oh, this one wasn't signed.
Yeah, I'm imagining like a doctor like palpates your and it comes out like buckshot or something. Like it's just little beads of plastic coming out.
Man, I learned recently there's a TV show called This Came Out of Me. Guess what it's about? It's about
stuff that went in people?
Stuff that was in people that they got out.
Yeah.
And I just like, I get the appeal of that. I understand. Like, I'll watch, I might not scroll away from a YouTube short about that. But if you're sitting down to watch a whole show of that, like, time to unwind and watch my favorite show, This Came Out of Me, that you're a sicko. That's a problem.
You got to get the abridged version. You can't. That's abridged
version. And you have to
is
stumble upon it. You can't be like looking for that.
Can't be like typing that into the search bar.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's stuff where it's like, it's like watching this YouTube short version, the abridged highlights, that's intellectual curiosity. Watching the whole thing with like the crying, the whole thing is just the same thing, but also that person is crying a lot. And it's like, you can't, I
have to hear their story.
Sorrow.
I don't want to hear their story. I want to see what came out of them.
Crossover My 600-Pound Life, What Came Out of Me episode where someone just had a 500-pound weight in them. And then that's how they're like, well, you're 100 pounds now. It's all gone.
That would be like so vindicating if someone on that show, they were like, actually, you do just have like a massive, massive tumor. You weren't eating too much, actually. You just had,
oh, man.
Yeah.
You got a bezoar. That's what it was.
Yeah, you got a huge bezoar.
Clumped hair. Are you on the YouTube Shorts kick? I tell you, I love YouTube Shorts. I'm that Conor O'Malley interview on. But I like that the algorithm doesn't work that well on YouTube Shorts. I love when it just serves something with like 8 views, and I'm like, nice. This is old internet to me. Just showing me something that nobody really intended for anyone to see.
What are you getting on there? I don't think I've ever actually used that on purpose.
I think I've talked about it on here before, but one thing I've been getting that I like is like bedroom guitarists, like really just like a guy in like
that's nice
somewhere that has, and it's like just noodling, and then you're like, this isn't that, like not in a mean way, but you're like, this isn't that good for. I'm surprised it would have showed it to me, and then you look and it's like 8 likes, and and I'll subscribe. I subscribed to one guy named Chef. I was like, all right, man, you're ripping. And then I think I also said on here once it just showed me a video someone recorded to send to customer service about how something didn't work. It was like, this light doesn't turn on. Here's a video that I told you about. And I don't know why it served it to me, but
I
enjoy to see that. That's private.
Yeah. That's like interesting to me though, is like, what are like people's unlisted videos or like purpose recorded like that,
Yeah.
I'm very curious about like that art form.
A lot of comedy festival submissions.
I was going to say mine suck because
it's
it's like old auditions to like host like web series or something. Like they're not good. But a normal person might have interesting ones. And by interesting I mean like very banal but in kind of a compelling way. You know what
a normal person doesn't know about unlisting videos. That's the thing. Right, so you're only gonna get people that have a weird reason for it. I feel like.
Yeah.
Man, those were the days. I feel like that's kind of gone, isn't it?
Old internet,
or maybe we're just. No, I meant having to apply to comedy festivals.
I
feel like most of them have either died or they're like invite only and they don't have submissions. It seems like that era has passed. But
just the application is just typing in how many Instagram followers you have, and if it's over their bar, you're allowed. Welcome, congratulations.
Welcome.
No, I legit was getting nostalgic for like Forum BB like last week, just because I feel like every social media thing is so bad. I'm like, I should make a forum. Let's get back to
I would join your forums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would your SIG be? What's the SIG?
What would my
Patty,
SIG
this
be?
question goes to you too. What's the SIG? Gotta, go with the classic. A low quality Ghost in the Shell JPEG or something like that.
That's a good one. Ghost in the Shell, low res Ghost in the Shell JPEG. Mine was back in my forum days. It was Bob Odenkirk as FF Woody Cooks from Mr. Show.
Yeah,
crazy mustache, holding the crime stick. That was mine. I don't
that's
know
the
what it would be
SIG.
now.
That's the PFP or the SIG. What do we got?
That's in the SIG.
Okay,
That's in the SIG.
all right.
I don't know what the
yeah.
PFP was. I don't really remember. Maybe interchangeable. I feel like he was in the SIG though.
Yeah, I do.
Patty,
like
what'd
the,
you get? What about you?
I never did this, so I'm trying to think about.
Never on a forum, any
You
kind of
got
forum.
like a little. So you get like what it is. You get like a little footer, and the classic was. You'd hop into Photoshop or more likely GIMP.
Oh no!
And then,
no. I know
like
what you're talking about. I just don't have one.
You weren't
so I
on
don't-
any forums.
No.
None.
Nope.
What did you do on
Man.
the internet back in the day?
I don't know. I guess I read like Game Facts or something. I don't really know what
yeah.
else. Yeah. I'm trying to think what else I was doing.
I'd probably have a Hellboy little something,
Yeah.
little
little Hellboy.
favored frame from Hellboy, something like that.
What were your forums? What were you on?
I was quite active on the Magic the Gathering official forums, the
Tight.
Wizards of the Coast official forums.
Tight.
Yes. And then I was in a weird, so the Newgrounds artist who made Alien Hominid and now has made his name.
Number 5.
All right.
Shelby,
this is
relax. I asked him a
fucking
question.
asked a question. This artist Dan Paladin, who made Alien Hominid and later stuff, like for whatever
Were you
reason,
like
I ended
a
up on
big?
his
Were you
forum.
like a big name? Was there like a pecking order on these forums? Were you like, where did you
the
fall?
Dan Paladin art forum was all artists, and it was pretty small. So I was just on there. In the Magic forums, I don't think I was that big of a user or anything.
weren't a power
but like I
user?
was regular. There were like I recognized people's names and they recognized mine. But I was probably looking back, I was probably a very annoying like 13-year-old. So
Tight.
probably best that people don't remember me from that. And I'm not sharing my username, even though the forums
yeah,
they're long
those are
gone. Those
secret.
forums are long gone.
Those are
They've
secret.
been wiped. Yeah.
Never letting those see the light of day. Let's do number 5.
Number 5.
Number 5 this week comes to us from Bookmark 19 in the Discord. I still say bookmarked because the Halloween is stuck with me. So this is a new food technique. We're getting real high tech with our fermentation, particularly with miso. Miso, a fermented soybean paste, really mild. I think one of the milder fermented things. I feel like miso. Usually, when someone says fermented, you're ready for some stank,
Some
and then
funk,
I feel
yeah.
and the miso soup is so calm and chill.
It's interesting to me that like I feel like there's a lot of like innovation going on with fermentation, right? Like I feel like this is a realm that people are exploring, which is very interesting to me because like in its most basic form, it's just leaving something out. Like it's literally just waiting to eat it is like the most basic form of.
Yeah.
But we've found ways to make it complicated.
It's a low effort pursuit, in a way that's probably not, I mean, it goes bad. When it goes bad, it goes really bad.
That's
like
the thing.
It's a
Is
high
like,
risk, high reward.
is it fermenting or is it going bad? That's the eternal question.
Can it, and certain stuff when you're messing with it, can you like explode? Like it like explodes. I mean, you can definitely like make botulism, or you can explode it. But miso generally, I feel like it's one of the milder as far as fermented things go. But now they are trying a new way to ferment miso, which
soy
is
sauce too. Soy sauce fermented. I feel like it doesn't taste like something where you'd be like, "Ooh, this is funky." You're like,
yeah,
it's soy sauce. We know
soy
it. We love it. One of the
soy
main
sauce
tastes.
is already pretty aggressive too. That's a real, your tongue is electrified a little bit. Soy sauce tastes electric to me a little bit. You know
It
what I
does
mean?
taste like it maybe came from a battery. It's like
Yeah.
battery juice.
Good battery. Yeah. Drain a battery
tasty
onto some
battery.
rice. Pretty good. That's what I feed my robot. So they fermented this miso on the space station. So they brought it up. They were fermenting it on the International Space Station, brought it back, have tried it, and their description is that it tastes intriguingly. This sounds weird and off to me because this is what I would expect from this. Nuttier and more roasted than miso produced at the same time in the U.S. and Denmark, which I feel like both of those are like earthy flavors that I would think you would go the opposite way in space, you know?
Well, roasted to me means like fire, which kind of famously not something you want on the space station.
Can't have on it. Can't have it.
Pretty bad.
Can't have it. Not one. Not
They can
one
have
bit.
some. They can have. Look, you
No,
can have a little bit.
none.
A little bit.
Not even a little. Actually, I don't know if
There
that's true.
was
Can they have a little? It seems like they wouldn't be able to.
I don't think they can have a little. There's a lot of oxygen. In
Yeah.
They
there.
can do a lot of stuff as long as they say it's an experiment. Then they can have a little.
Then they're
You know,
allowed-
if it's
then they can
part
have
of
a
if they're
little bit.
studying fire. There was one astronaut who snuck a corned beef sandwich onto a space flight as a prank, and
Mm-hmm.
he got in so much trouble because I mean, imagine your table after you eat a corned beef sandwich, and it's like crumbs are
Yeah.
deathly dangerous.
That's
in
like a pretty stinky sandwich too, in terms of like stinky sandwich hierarchy. Like it's not tuna, but it's up there, I think.
Yeah. Also, I believe someone put this is all very
it's
cracked
gonna-
information.
It's going to get in all the stuff. It's getting in all the stuff, like all the
Yeah.
sliders
Yeah.
and the dials. You can't have that floating around.
Yeah,
All the little crumbs.
It got behind the go button or the stop button on
No,
the
we
shuttle.
can't stop. There's too much corned beef
Someone's-
in here.
It fell in between the seat, between the driver's seat and the passenger seat of the spaceship. There's
Oh,
that
man.
crack. They still haven't. NASA hasn't even fixed that. The French
Yeah.
fry black hole, where your drive-through goes. They still have that on the space station. Believe it or not.
Imagine getting in a car accident because your corned beef sandwich fell behind the brake pedal and you couldn't depress it.
Final
No.
destination. Irish Final Destination.
Yeah.
Huge problem.
Yeah. So yeah, they brought it up there. I was saying that they also at one point brought scotch into space and brought it back, and that's part of why this is surprises to me because when they brought the scotch back, it tastes much more like I would guess like something that was in space, which was like they were like, it's not great, and it has hints of antiseptic smoke, rubber. Like that's space to me is like, yeah, it's like sterile and burning, you know?
I imagine it as sort of like adjacent to hospital, like how a hospital smells is how I imagine.
Yeah.
Not space, but how I imagine an enclosed area in space that a human made would.
Yeah.
I don't know if other like space at large. I'm not sure if it has a smell. I feel like you need oxygen to have a smell, but maybe not. I'm gonna Google.
It's probably one of those no sound, no smell sort of things the nerds get all angry about. My thing now, I want to know all the details on the miso experiment because I feel like if it I mean, I guess it's got to ferment. It stays, but it needs to be exposed. You need to at one point open the jar, put it outside the station,
Right.
Scoop up some space and seal it back up. Otherwise, you're just doing it and it's just in the jar. You know.
You need what they need is on the side of the space station. There needs to be like a little glove appendage that you can stick your arm in to like
Yeah.
reach out, you know? And you like
Yeah.
put the miso out the airlock and then you catch it with that glove and you just sort of
Yeah.
wave it around and then cap it again and get some
Put it on
space
a
in
l-
there.
Yeah. Get a big chunk of it on the end of a long stick and run it out the airlock. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let it float around in there. Maybe
Maybe-
you'll catch a
and-
space fish.
If you
Yeah.
if you lose it, then like maybe an alien will enjoy a little chunk of space miso and come looking for more of it, you know?
Yeah.
That's how the Portuguese got to Japan. That's how Shogun happened.
Yeah. Smash cut to Earth, all running into it, just a miso farm with horrible alien overlords forcing us to produce as much miso as possible for their refined palates. Yeah. So they put it into the International Space Station, fermented it for 30 days inside it. Yeah. So a specially designed box that monitored temperature, humidity, pressure, light, and radiation. Which, yeah, I think you gotta you can't have it too enclosed, but you gotta kind of you gotta wing it a little bit in space to get that real space flavor.
Well, you can't ferment stuff in a vacuum. Like that's the whole thing about it. You gotta have some microbes and stuff. So they gotta let some space microbes in there.
They got to put some down in the ice in the Antarctic where they have the secret ancient viruses and bacteria.
Mm-hmm. Do that.
That'll be good.
Put a
We should
little
get that
miso into
stuff.
that core.
Get that stuff back out there. You know?
Yeah. Let's see what the thing that killed, the dinosaurs tastes like in
Why
miso
not?
or whatever. Some ancient disease.
That's
cares?
fermented
Get that
down
in there.
That's fermenting.
Yeah. Mix it up. Go down to the seed bank, wherever that thing is, and mix them all together. Trail mix from the seed bank. Now that is a forbidden delight.
The problem
mix.
with the ice core
Mix
going down
all
into
the Mountain Dews up there.
Yeah. Bring a Mountain Dew up to space.
Bring all the Mountain Dews up. The problem with the ice core, though, is that somebody does try to taste it, but then their tongue gets stuck on it. So that's
no.
Yeah, you can't getting your tongue stuck on the thing that killed the dinosaurs is a real boner of a move.
You don't want to get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take an ice core and just put a stick on it. Make popsicles out of it. Melt it down and then put it in one of those popsicle trays that never fucking worked when you were a kid. That were like,
Those are
you can
such
make
a
your own
fucking letdown,
popsicles, and you just get shards of shitty flavored ice because it would completely break apart. It's I think they need to do it again. I think they need to. I feel like, I don't know why, but it just to be like, it tastes more roasted. I'm like, I think you messed it up. I think you messed up the experiment. You ate the wrong thing. You got the samples mixed up.
This has got to be so exciting for them, though, because space food kind of notoriously not great, right? You throw a little miso paste in there, you got a whole other. That's flavor country, baby. That's flavor universe, flavor galaxy up in space.
Maybe that's what happened. Maybe one of them got so hungry in space eating his tubes.
His freeze-dried ice cream from the Museum of Science.
Yeah,
that's where they get it.
Snuck the miso, and then when he got back, he was like, "Ah, shit!" And then you went and just bought some miso from Trader Joe's and put it in there, and they were like, "This tastes like Trader Joe's miso. How interesting!" And they were like, we got Patty has sent a picture of Paul Giamatti in Sideways with a snifter of some kind.
That's the miso, I guess.
He's tasting the miso, and he's blocking his ear because otherwise he can't smell as well.
Yeah, no, it's like when you're looking for an address and you have to turn the radio down.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Yeah.
Anyway. Another thing that kind of sucks, it's funny about the International Space Station is that the U.S. astronauts are banned from drinking, but the Russian cosmonauts are not. So they just have to watch them drink up there.
That sucks.
Sometimes they can have vodka.
That seems like an
can't.
intelligence issue. I feel like you're going to entice some people to go over to the other side,
Yeah.
Bribe them with some vodka.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they can have some. I bet they sneak it. But
I bet they
give me
sneak
an old.
That sounds so fucking annoying, though, because also, as we know, being around drunk people when you're not drunk, not a good time. And you can't even go outside to smoke because you're on the space station. So
I'd be blowing vape out the side of the space station. Enjoy that, aliens. I mean, most vapes already look like they belong on a space station at this point. They're
do.
literally covered in constellations and shit.
Why does it smell like mango berries up here? Gross.
The aliens have discovered menthol and they love it. They're addicted to it. I think this is cool. Get more stuff up there, more foods up there.
Stuff up there. Do you guys know about this? I learned about it from Who Weekly that Katy Perry's going to space for 10 minutes or something.
Oh,
they're
they're
sending some people up there.
They're doing the Blue Origin thing, right? With her and Jeff Bezos' wife.
And Gail King. It's a really random group of people.
Yeah.
It's why? Why? The group of people is so random. It seems like they're doomed because it's such a random group.
Oh, it's happening next. It's happening next week, so it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's very Katy Perry, man. It's what won't she do to get people to pay attention to her at this point? Because folks are not buying the record.
They're not buying the record, folks.
Yeah,
it's a flop.
What if I went to space? What if I went to fucking space? Huh?
Listen,
how about
Katie.
that?
You gotta go to space. No one's buying the record. We're sending you up there. We gotta make our money back, okay?
She's Donald Trump owns her record
You're a rock
company.
star, Chica.
I'm also, I'm with Kath. You can't be sending like a pre-written Wikipedia or like random Wikipedia article into space. That's just waiting for like some strange
they need one
70 years from now.
Yeah, they need like one A-list person to go with them just as an insurance policy. So like people are on their A game,
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried about them.
Hey everybody, if you're enjoying this episode, I bet you'd also enjoy the bonus episode where we discuss what the funniest toupee for me to wear would be.
Plus, find out what movie inspired Patty to become a lawyer.
That's right. It's all on patreon.com/whatatimepod. You can also listen to our regular episodes ad-free on the bonus feed. So check it out.
Let's do number 4.
Number 4.
Number 4 comes to us from Iguana Helium Cube in the Discord. If you would like to submit stories to our podcast, you can join our Discord at the $10 a month level and get access to our private Discord channels where you can submit stories like this one. I feel like this is... look, they got some studies on it now. I feel like this was A, intuitive, and B, anecdotally proven by anybody who has like spent time with this substance. But guys, great news. Nitrous oxide, aka laughing gas, aka whippets, aka the thing that Steve-O was super addicted to. That's like the main thing I know about whippets. It cures
Is
depression.
that Steve-O was addicted to them?
Do you ever see that documentary about Steve-O doing all the whippets? It's
I
crazy.
know he was addicted to them. Yeah, it's really bad. It's
really bad.
You can buy them on Seamless, which seems bad, but
Yeah.
yeah.
What was it? The cloud? Galaxy gas. That's what it was. Remember the moral panic about the Zoomers doing Galaxy gas? Well, apparently, don't do it at Steve-O levels. Although it would cure your depression, it would give you worse problems to deal with.
You'd be like putting a
instead.
damn jellyfish on your penis and stuff.
Right. That would maybe cure depression.
It would distract you for sure.
I think your brain levels would change. Whatever's going on in
My
there.
brain
your
levels.
brain levels.
I don't know.
That's
I
my
feel like if you had
understanding of
really-
mental illness is my brain levels.
Your brain levels are too low. We got to get those up.
Yeah, the humor's in your brain.
I think that's kind of what it is.
Well, they also found that recently that they were wrong about that shit with the serotonin levels and like chemical imbalance. But they were like, antidepressants do work. We just don't know why anymore.
It's just
so
not
I
for
guess
this
just
reason.
keep taking
Yeah.
them. Yeah,
stuff.
No, with my experience with it would be put like a jellyfish on your penis. I think if you were severely depressed, you'd just be like, "Well, great,
Well,
okay."
I'm focused on this now, at least. Not about
Sure,
No,
why
you just,
not?
stuff.
You just go fucking Joss Whedon mode because you're so depressed. You're just like, well, that's happening. Great. Just
Well, this
my
is
luck.
just great. Yeah.
Jellyfish on my
oh,
penis.
boy.
Oh,
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
But I guess this is sort of like a ketamine thing. I feel like this I'm sure it's real. Laughing gas, it does because they give it to you at the dentist, right? When you're like going to be stressed out or like in pain or uncomfortable, they give it to you and it makes you kind of chill about the whole thing. So I
Yeah.
understand why
And
it
a
would work
dentist-
for depression.
Is kind of a doctor. I know.
Yeah,
they're
a little bit.
doctors. I know. I'm kidding. Dentists don't.
Oh, boy.
Well, I don't see you, but yeah. I mean, I guess it's also they've got to be doing it different than the Whippets one, right? They probably like
They're not
it's like
giving
probably
you
like,
galaxy gas, I think.
It's like mixed up, right? Yeah, right. There's like probably more oxygen, or it's balanced, or something. It's not just straight out of a whipped cream canister.
Yeah, I mean, but I guess it's like what I was going to say is just it seems like they're finding that like every recreational drug that's fun cures depression. And it's like, yeah, that's why people do them because they're like fun. And people who are sad tend to enjoy them like more than their normal state, Like it doesn't seem hugely surprising to me. Not that you should take recreational drugs to deal with your mental health issues. But because they're just like, wow, mushrooms, they like help with mental health problems. Ketamine, nitrous oxide. Like, yeah, those things are all like fun to do. That's why people do them.
I think that the laughing gas is the most interesting so far because it's one that doesn't inspire. Like ketamine and mushrooms, part of it they can ascribe to their like you haven't, you know, they make you look inward and they make you like, you know, like really consider yourself or shit, whatever. Laughing gas is not that. Laughing gas is literally just like like for a while. And
they attribute it to its anesthetic properties, that like it kind of numbs you out a little bit, but not in a I'm a sad robot way. You know?
Yeah. I definitely I had it when I had my wisdom teeth out, and that's the only time I remember actually doing it, I think. And I like the experience like turned into like a like I distinctly remember the oral surgeon being like a little pinch, and I was just like yeah, and then but that like became like a song like for like the whole time like that back and forth.
Yeah.
So so it's definitely memorable to me.
It's like you had the thing in the Muppets when they go to Kenneth the Page's point of view, or sorry, in 30 Rock when they go to Kenneth the Page's point of view and it's all Muppets and they're all singing. That's what you had happen.
Yeah,
it was just Phenomena for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Toontown in Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
I remember, I think for wisdom teeth I just got put under. But the one time I had laughing gas, I remember thinking that it felt like my bottom half of my body was rotating one way and the top half was rotating the other, but not in a bad way. And I was like, how interesting. And then, you know, they were like yanking out teeth. Curious.
I'm being wrung out.
Yeah. Which
think
honestly sounds pretty good.
Yeah. I think that would probably help with my depression if I it's like, well, that's new. Like, you know, sometimes you just want to experience a new thing, and that can kind of help you deal with the, you know, the banality of life.
To clarify here, they're saying that it helps like after they take the mask off, right?
Yeah,
like it's not, they're not just like while you're on drugs, it's better.
Good news. Continuously. Yeah. It's like Steve-O had the right idea. No, it has like a lingering effect, which I think is like what they say about ketamine too. But yeah, you're right that the mechanism is different, but it's like, you have this treatment and then over time you feel better. So like that's pretty cool. Also not great that the end of this article says the products have been available on Amazon, eBay. It just starts listing where you can get
Galaxy Gas,
get Whippets. Don't love that, but you know, I guess if you really wanted them, you'd figure it out.
Well, all of this, I mean, even the ones that are like medically, like the ketamine and whatever, it's like, I believe the same thing. Don't self-medicate because the ketamine one is like, is ketamine therapy probably helpful? Yeah, but I don't think the one that you get advertised on Instagram is how you should start your ketamine therapy journey.
That's fucking crazy to me that they're like, yeah, we'll mail you some ketamine. Go for it. Like, that's fucking nuts.
I think they stopped it, or I don't know if they got in trouble or what, but like that was like how Hims for a while was selling full antidepressants, and they're like, you like take a test and it's like, oh, you know, it's like, hey, this is a medication that when people get put on it, they're supposed to be like tightly supervised for like 2 weeks because there's like 10 like risks of suicide and stuff. And they're like, no, we'll send it to you in a cardboard box, and it's going to say some fun shit on the top, like, get ready to kiss that sad upside down smile goodbye. And it's like, no, there should be a fucking doctor involved more than just like reading a text chat. But
yeah, more than getting on Zoom. But
yeah. So don't take this. Yeah, there's probably going to be people who take this.
They sent me Keto Nice.
Keto Nice.
Yeah, I think there's one person we can all agree should be the exclusive supervisor of their own ketamine therapy. He's frequently in the news.
Oh,
I think that's one person that we can all agree. You know, be as careless as you feel the need to be.
Get it through the mail. Let it pass through multiple people's hands to get to you. Get it delivered by, you know, Amazon Prime.
Cook up a nice big dose, you know, and you know.
Didn't he tweet that he was like impervious to it or something? He was like, I can take more ketamine than anyone ever, and it's like, give it a try. Go for it.
Yeah. I bet you can.
I bet you can. Yeah, exactly. I dare you.
Yeah. Also, you're still going to lose. Guess who can still take more ketamine than you? A horse.
A horse.
You still lose to the horse.
That's like aspirin for them. It's nothing. They're
always coming in second place to the horse in the ketamine race.
Give a horse some. Actually, don't give a horse some laughing gas. I just imagine that. It's terrifying. Horrible.
I mean, maybe if it's depressed, it'll help him out.
I don't know. That just feels like
Turn into
you're asking for hooves everywhere.
Mr. Ed somehow.
Mr. Ed.
Or the horse from Ren and Stimpy, the talking horse from Ren and Stimpy.
Mm-hmm. That's how they got Mr. Ed to talk. They actually put a zin in his mouth. He was chawing away.
He was the first. He was the first
cool mint zin.
The first creature to have a zin was Mr. Ed.
Oh man, can you imagine throwing like a tin of zins into like a pack of goblins? They would be packing fucking 3 apiece. They'd be like all.
Oh, it'd be torn to
God.
shreds. The little zin carton would be. I was thinking, give it to like some gorillas. Get them to. Oh yeah. Get them to try.
They're always doing. They got plenty of like chimpanzees are always like doing the thing with their lips. I bet they'd pack us in.
They've got the lips for it. They don't have the lips to speak. That's they can't form human speech because they don't have the right lips. But their lips were made for dip, made for zins.
Yeah, could pack a huge lip.
Give him a zin. Give him like an empty Powerade bottle to carry around, and we're all set.
Yeah, no, the orangutans are packing an old school. They're packing skull, The orangutan with a fucking empty Yingling bottle. Just,
I think I can see an orangutan like rolling its own cigarette. I feel,
yeah,
I could imagine.
Well, this is.
I mean, the orangutan is usually wise, so
right?
Maybe a pipe.
He's rolling herbs into an aromatherapeutic.
That's just like a shorthand that was set up at some point that is just now just culturally known. It's like, yep. That's because like in the new Planet of the Apes, it's the same thing. Even though there's no like Dr. Zaius or anything, it's just like, oh yeah, that's like the one they get advice from.
Yeah, we took all the apes and we basically put them into like D&D classes. Where like those are the wizard,
right?
And the gorilla is the warrior.
Yeah,
and,
no, it's like how dogs are boys and cats are girls. Like it is known. It is known.
Orangutan is a sage. Would never say hamburger. Would say something wise.
No, would never say hamburger.
Yeah. I don't know. Take those monkeys that they taught to smoke all those years ago. Get them on the zin. It's good for them. They're probably all gone, unfortunately.
R.I.P. Number 3?
Number 3.
Number 3 comes to us from Burlington Cheesecoat Factory in the Discord. This is a story about it took place in Pahrump, Nevada, which I believe is the setting of a multi-episode arc of the show The Newsroom, I believe.
It's Studio 60.
It's Studio 60? Okay.
Yeah,
I couldn't remember
holy
which
shit,
one.
how does Patty have the same reference for Pahrump, Nevada as me? That's insane.
Yeah, that's right. They get stuck in Pahrump, right?
What's his name?
Pahrump?
Rob Corddry's brother gets stuck in Pahrump. Nate Corddry.
Pahrump, Nevada.
I watched
also
that
the
whole show. Why?
Me too.
Why did I do that? Why did we do that, Patty?
You should probably finish that sandwich.
Crazy Christians.
You should probably finish that sandwich. Yeah, that was the ultimate, like, at least 30 Rock, like, all the sketches were, like, intentionally bad.
Known bad, yeah.
Right, like, that's the way you gotta do it. Otherwise, you can't.
Yeah, on Studio 60 for, the very few of you who haven't watched it.
Yes, of course.
They were always, there was all this controversy about this brilliant satire they wrote that I don't think you ever saw any of it, but it was a sketch called Crazy Christian.
It was the talk of the entire world.
Yeah, it was huge news. It was, dominating the news cycle for weeks. Crazy Christians. What's his name wrote it? Chandler, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Matt Albee, I believe, is the character's name.
Matt Albee.
Yes.
Yeah,
man, what a
I
bad
believe
show.
that's the one thing we got to give him now that he's passed is we got to stop calling him Chandler. He's even forgot.
Is it Matthew Perry?
His name is Matthew Perry. Yes, I was
Okay.
going with the Studio 60 character. I know. Yes, I know the guy's real name.
I forgot
as well.
his name.
I feel like that's. I don't want to rehash it. It's a sad story, but no, I was just gonna say Pahrump, Nevada, also the hometown of the Little Drummer Boy. That's just like a fun joke.
That's fun. Yeah,
this is a little fun.
John Goodman played a judge in those, and I think he won an Emmy. I just remember John Goodman and Pahrump. Anyway, it's not about Studio 60, so.
People thought it was good at one point, right? I feel like I used to hear people like, you gotta watch Studio 60. And then it just aged worse.
Reception was mixed, I would say. Reception was mixed.
Yes,
there were some good performances on it.
I mean,
I watched it for a podcast.
It came out at the same time as 30 Rock, and everyone's like, well, that's clearly the Sorkin one's clearly gonna be the good one. What is this other one? Like, and it's like, oh no, that's very much not the case. Okay, so anyway, we're in Pahrump here. There was a man arrested. He was arrested on
It was
suspicion.
Nate Cordry.
He was okay. He was arrested on suspicion of resisting arrest. I'm kind of wrapping my head around that.
It's a couple degrees away from a crime, I
They
feel.
went to his house and arrested him for resisting arrest.
Stop thinking about resisting. We're getting.
I
Anyway.
think you might resist if I try to arrest you. Get over here.
I guess.
Stop looking at me like that.
Obviously, you have to be charged with resisting arrest, and you are innocent until proven guilty. So I guess
That-
they can't
I-
just.
yeah.
So but it is a strange thing to say. So they went to this guy's house, and he had 7 quote emotional support tigers that were seized from his home. He did not have any of the permits or anything.
That is a cougar.
The cops got dimed. Somebody dimed him out and said there's been seen walking the tigers loose around the property, off the property, in the desert. Social media posts from him with people interacting with the cats, which is also in violation. And he said he doesn't need the permits because they're emotional support animals. The ADA, for its part, does not recognize tigers as emotional support animals.
Something you also need a permit for.
Off
I don't
leash
need
tigers
permits because
is fucking crazy.
He
Off
claims.
leash tigers, like, oh, I got him on recall. Don't worry about it.
I mean,
also if you live near a desert, you should have gotten
on leash
lions.
tiger, or who do you have a golem that's going to stop it? Like if a tiger wants to go, it's going. You having him on a leash is not really going to.
That's a good point.
You're not going to
Leash
hold
is
it
not-
back from anybody.
True.
That's true.
You
that's
just
a very good point.
go with it if it's going. Well, no, it's okay. He's on a leash.
7 of them,
He
yeah.
weighs half a ton, and I
The
will
hope
stop
is that.
him.
Yeah, the hope is that it'll just slow them down because they're dragging cargo.
They're just
now.
so well
Yeah.
trained that if you pull back, it's like they won't go.
Mm-hmm.
That's I assume. So there's an angle here that I don't really want to get into. Is that he claims to have rescued the big cats from the Tiger King, which is a aspect of American culture that I have just kept away from successfully.
Yeah, you've put you've hermetically sealed it in
Yep.
a bubble, and you're
Didn't
just
wa-
like,
didn't Carol Baskin is also mentioned. Did not watch that show. Felt vindicated very strongly, having just because the way it just kind of faded away and was not.
Yep.
So
yeah, I really had an unpleasant emotional response to hearing the name Carol Baskin. Really
Yeah, I just
bummed
don't.
me out hearing that name again. No thanks.
So anyway, unclear whether that's true or not. I don't know. He took them from Oklahoma to Nevada or wherever, right? I mean,
I do feel like the type of person who owns 7 tigers is also the type of person to lie about the Tiger King.
right, like affiliation.
Yeah.
So yeah, this guy. I mean, this has been going on for a long time. I guess even as late as early as 2020, they were asking him to knock it off, and he filed lawsuits. So this is kind of like a omnibus kind of crank situation. It seems like
2020 makes it more understandable to me that if it started in 2020, just in the middle of the pandemic, he's like, "I'm going to get 7 tigers," and I was like, "We
Yeah.
all thought about it. We just
Sure.
knew you can't. You shouldn't."
So he was booked. He was booked in at the Nye County Detention Center in Pahrump, which might be where the Studio 60 gang was.
John Goodman presided. I don't want to like make anyone upset, but like I don't understand emotional support animal. I get it if you're like, I feel like there is a way that can be systematized where like, you got PTSD, you got some kind of thing, and like having a little friend with
Yeah.
you can keep you calm. But I feel like it's like the naturopath of having a pet. With
I would say that it is
It is
a designation that is ripe for abuse, which
Fungible.
is
Yeah.
definitely going on for sure.
Yeah. And I think most of the time it's just someone who's said, like, there is a system to actually register one in which you need like doctors and stuff like that, but it's definitely
You should have to
the
do
vests
that.
are available on like Etsy.
Right.
Like that's I think what most people do.
Yeah.
Where, yeah, it's for
Where just
people with
here,
like
my
PTSD.
terribly behaved animal that like is going to shit all over this airplane seat, but it's wearing a fluorescent vest, so I'm not allowed to be annoyed with it. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Can't be doing that.
Yeah.
We live
Ask
in
them
a
to show
society.
it. Lean into it. Ask them to show them your paperwork. Not great ever to ask you someone to show papers, but that's how you got to
the
know
thing.
if it's
like,
real
that's
or just
what
the
they
vest.
count on is that it makes you an asshole if you try to like look into it at all.
Well, that's like, I mean,
Yeah.
you see like on the, on the signs on like the doors of businesses where it's like
Grocery
we love
stores and
pets,
stuff.
but
Yeah.
no only service animals. And I think are they required to let emotional support in? I don't know what the rule is, but
You have to
definitely
let service animals in.
Service animals one thing, but definitely a fun thing to have to kind of parse.
Yeah.
What's the legitimacy of this? Because anybody can just wave around a PDF that looks like a letter signed by somebody. That's not really like evidence of anything. So yeah, I don't
Bad
know.
actors ruining
Bad
the emotional
actors.
support animals
Bad
for
actors.
everybody.
Look, I mean, I derive emotional support from
We
Liza.
all do. That's what having a pet is all about. That's why I'm like, there needs to be. I think you should have to go through a doctor or something because like everybody's animal is an emotional support animal.
Well,
Like, I'm sad
people
when
just
I'm not
abusing
around
it.
her. You know?
Yeah. You do. It's just everyone just knows that no one's going to ask for the papers. So they're like, yeah, it's people.
Right.
Because it's like,
They take
look, I looked into it.
advantage. They take
I looked
advantage.
into it. Yeah.
I don't like it. But I feel
Tigers,
like
though-
emotional support 7 tigers that people are going to be asking for the papers. That's
He was too calm. His emotions were too tempered. They were
You
like, you need
can't-
a lot more chaos in your life.
you can't like walk those into Whole Foods with a little vest on. You're gonna get asked to leave.
The meat budget on that's got to be crazy. I mean, how are you feeding 7 tigers? That's a lot of meat.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
crazy. I also want to. It's not important, but they say.
Well, you might
after
be
they pick them up-
surprised. You might be surprised to hear that they were malnourished. Yeah. So that's
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
They said.
weren't really well taken care of. These 7 tigers.
visibly appeared to be underweight. So I'm not gonna.
Aw.
That's all. Look, I don't doubt that. I can't say that I don't doubt, but it's conceivable that they actually that they love these tigers and we're not really prepared to care for
Sure.
them in the way that a zoo would. But we're doing their best, whatever that is. But that's why people can have 7 of them. That's or
I think
or
I
any.
would put the limit at 0.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think 7 is necessarily. It's not like
mean-
too many, friend. If you'd had
You
5,
could barely have 7 dogs, much less tigers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a lot of animal. That's a lot of dishes. That's a lot of. You're spending half your day cleaning out food and water dishes. What are
I
you doing?
feel like we're kind of due for one in New York. We haven't had one in New York in a while. Every couple
What?
years, there'll be like a tiger living in some apartment building.
Oh, they're here.
That's
They're
what
just-
I mean.
I think-
We're due
yeah.
to have one found out. Like it's been a while. You
I think
know?
they just haven't been looking. They've just been they're so busy with the subway, just standing in there that they haven't been able to go. Yeah, a lot of katana.
Now I'm just
there's probably
imagining a
lot of-
tiger leaping over the turnstile into the subway. It's the
They're
only way
built
they're
for
getting
it.
caught. Yeah,
yeah.
cops chasing
Beautiful
it down.
animals. Look, no one's saying they're not beautiful animals, but you gotta give. That's what I was saying before. Is if he lives near the desert, though, that's the wrong animal too. You want a lion, bud. That's not their. They don't like that. You live in a foresty area, you get a tiger. You live in a savanna, you get a lion.
Is
Get it
Nevada
right.
a savanna? Do you think?
Why don't? It's closer to a savanna than it is a jungle. That's for damn
true.
sure.
That's true.
So they're gonna be I believe sent to like a sanctuary basically where they'll be held until they decide where they're gonna go sort of on a more permanent basis. And it's not clear they're really gonna charge this guy with anything. I guess it seems like if you take the tigers forcibly. Maybe that's enough. You know what I mean? Maybe you just kind of,
That's punishment enough. You lost your 7 tigers.
Yeah, and you resolve whatever the issue, has been. Now, expect a lawsuit, obviously, based on past behavior, but, that's...
Well, he can afford to pay a lot of fines because now he doesn't have 7 tigers to feed. So that's
Yeah.
a lot of free,
A lot of room in
free
that
income.
budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've really saved him a lot of money.
zeroing out that category.
He's got to buy cows, like, by the cow.
Yeah,
Like, he's
getting
not going
direct
and getting
shipments.
steaks. He's getting,
You're going down to Costco and cleaning them out.
Can you buy a whole cow at Costco? You should be able to.
You can't. You can buy a whole cow from a slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
I know that.
That's
but
true.
I don't think Costco. I think it's just kind of bad optics for them. You have the mooing would be unbearable. It would make it even
buying
sadder.
Well, you
in
take care of that
Costco.
before you get,
Yeah, let me
before
get
he gets
the,
to Costco.
Let me get the Flintstone ribs.
Let me get the big ribs. I also like here how they said that they found a handgun in his possession. And I was like, yeah, I bet. Was it on his hip and was it chromed? A chrome revolver with an ivory handle? Like, yeah, this guy definitely has a gun.
No shit, he's got guns. Yeah. Imagine
Probably.
an anti-gun guy who owns 7 tigers. Impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, odds are if you're going to a call in Nevada and the guy has a bunch of tigers and is being, has some issues with the state, it seems like a safe bet that you should be prepared to be dealing with.
Yeah,
does
not
seem
only
like,
does he
though,
have a handgun, he knows how to twirl it. He definitely knows how to twirl it in some manner. Yeah.
It does seem like if there is one state in the country where like maybe it's not that hard to own a tiger red tape wise, it would be Nevada. Right?
Yeah.
Siegfried and Roy.
Siegfried and Roy, they paved the way.
And paid the price.
Did they get eaten by the tigers?
One of them got mauled severely.
One of them got like bit in the neck on stage, I believe, and that was sort of
mauled pretty severely. Yeah,
not ideal.
Yeah,
and they did everything right. They didn't.
Right.
They actually didn't do everything.
They did one thing very wrong, at least.
But they did feed it right, probably. It's got to be stage ready. Got to have silky fur.
Yeah,
I mean, they're wild animals, man. That's
I've seen Nope.
You don't know what they're going to do. You don't know what's inside that little brain or big brain.
Yeah.
I'm
right.
not sure.
You guys seen Roar? Fucking crazy, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I know about Roar. I've not watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't have wild animals. You can't own them. Mm-hmm. They're their own thing.
You got to get those tigers. You got to slowly breed hip dysplasia and flat faces into them and remove all instincts and capabilities. Then you got yourself a little striped pet. I guess that's cats. I guess I'm talking about cats, but
Yeah.
That's the good one.
That's a good one. Cats
just
also
get as many cats as 7 tigers weigh. And then, it's kind of the same.
That'll be a stinky, stinky house.
Oh boy.
Well, this is also probably a stinky house.
Yeah,
I mean,
feel like
got
those
a big
tiger
litter box
shits
for them?
are not great. Cats, though, kind of debatably domesticated.
Yeah,
they are, but not like a dog is. They are sort of like a thing that maybe doesn't super want to live in your house that you have. So,
yeah, more of a tenuous agreement sometimes, depending on the cat.
It's an agreement.
Yeah.
Should we do number 2?
Yeah.
Number two.
Number 2 comes to us from Habusius Corpus, very good name, in the Discord. This is a fun one. Eli already knows this name. This will be a surprise to Patty. So this is a magistrate judge in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, Brazil. He was for decades, he was working he's recently become a magistrate judge, but he was doing this thing that was a problem for decades. He had a false identity. He'd been using documents under a false name since 1980. So I believe so he became a judge under his Brazilian identity, but he was also pretending to be a British guy. And
it also does say he passed a judicial exam under that identity.
Under the British name.
False one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was under the false one.
This is catch me if you can, only real.
Kinda.
Yeah. That's a big YouTube short, let me tell you. That scene where he's like, how'd you pass the bar? I studied for 3 weeks straight.
Did you know that guy who that's based on, believe it or not, probably not that much stuff in that story is true.
Yeah, well, that's what I was alluding to. I can't believe the con artist may have been making up his exploits.
The con artist who then became a successful public speaker.
Yeah,
a famously trustworthy job.
But unsurprising that he wrote a good movie. Get some more con artists writing movies.
Did he write that movie?
I think it's based on his book.
On him.
Yeah,
he spun the yarn that became the movie, and he spun that yarn very well. That is a good movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this guy, the Brazilian guy, his true identity, they came looking for him because he tried to get a new copy of his ID, the British ID, using they took his fingerprints. So they come to this guy's house and they're like, "Hey, why are you pretending to be this other guy?" And he said, "Oh, that's my twin brother who was raised in England." So he did. Not only is he Catch Me If You Can, he's also the Parent Trap. That's also what's happening here.
Yep.
The Princess Diaries situation, sort of here. Is that the? Yeah.
He's just taking the piss.
He's just taking the piss.
It's a bit of banter, mate.
So, I have the names of his parents. Where is his name?
His Brazilian name, I can read
his
if
British
you want.
name. Okay, I found it.
Oh, yeah.
So his British name, that he said, no, I am a British man who is now a magistrate judge in Brazil, and my name is Edward, Albert, Lancelot, Dodd Canterbury, Canterham, Wickfield. And
Enough names for 3 British people.
I imagine he was asked
names.
what his name was, and he just kept stammering out more names.
Just looking around.
This is like if you Googled like top 10 names for British babies, like if you got like a joke website.
He went on
at
like
least
the
3 of
peerage
these.
notebook to like look at all the fuddy-duddy noble names.
Yeah. The fact that Lancelot is in there should have been a huge red flag. Lancelot and then Canterbury are just
Dodd
like
Canterbury. Yeah.
I like the
the
idea
tails?
of just being like, oh yeah, no, that was the other guy. That wasn't. Yeah, no,
That's my twin brother.
yeah.
We parent trapped. It's fine. He
I
was
didn't do
given
it.
away at birth. I don't know.
didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, that's a little too many. He did get the hyphenated thing though, right? Because they do have. They love to do a hyphenated, like 4 names is not too many, but like 7 or whatever this is too many.
Yeah.
He hyphenated 2 of his 8 names,
Yeah.
I believe, is the count here if I'm doing this right.
This does make me wonder because, like, I don't know about Brazil, but like in a lot of like Spanish Catholic countries, people have like a lot of names. They'll have like 2 middles and 2 lasts and stuff. I wonder if he was just like going that mode and forgot that they don't do that in England, you know? And then he was like, "Oh fuck, too many names.
Yeah.
Well, I guess a lot of the names are, go back to like the old like lineage stuff, right? So it's like you're showing off who your parents
Right.
are. and
It's
stuff.
peerage.
Yeah.
Peerage
So it's just
shit.
like, yeah.
Well, he also said
Unlike-
he made up names for his parents too that are also very good. Richard Lancelot Dodd Canterbury Caterham Wickfield is his dad, and his mom is Anne Marie Dubois Vincent Wickfield. So got a little bit of that French nobility in there too, you know.
Yeah. Which, like, these, you might have, like, Anne-Marie Antoinette, like, it's just, like, from history books, like, certain names just pulled. Lancelot.
My father is Merlin.
Merlin, Charlemagne, Prince Charles, Banger and Mash. That's my name.
My mother is, of course, Morgana Le Fay.
Yeah. My father is Merlin, and as you know, that makes me, as we've discussed on this podcast, makes me 1/4 demon. I am part incubus.
I'm a balding
that's
baby
all.
on my father's side.
Forgot about that.
Balding
It was a
baby.
balding baby with no underwear. Was one of Merlin's
Yeah.
like
That's who
looks.
Merlin is.
Merlin on the runway, spinning with no underwear on. Yeah.
Man, that's got to be so disappointing when you find the Merlin manuscript and then you're like, it says he's a balding baby with no underwear. Let's just
Yeah.
put this back.
What is this
Yeah.
shit?
We couldn't read that one actually. That one's that one's undecipherable. It turns
it makes whoever reads it go blind. It's bewitched.
Yeah.
So we don't know about
This
that
is like the English version of what were we've talked the famous fake American names, Bobson Dugnut,
one. Oh yeah, and that Japanese
the Japanese
game.
baseball game,
Yeah.
Bobson Dugnut, one of the greatest names. Please,
Todd
Bobson Dugnut was
Gonzalez.
my father.
That's my favorite.
My
one.
name is
Todd
Gonzalez. Yeah,
Just with the red
literally
B, the
like
red
the
B,
Zoomer,
the red emoji.
Yeah,
B.
Zoomer
Yep.
meme, Gonzalez. Yeah. So here,
I like Willie Dustus.
Willie Dustus is good. They're all
Yeah.
good. I feel like these are really. I don't think any drag kings have picked these up, but like Todd
Yeah.
Gonzalez is like a prime drag
Yeah.
king name. I would love to see
Yeah.
Todd Gonzalez do some lip syncing.
Willie Dustus, great name for like a pitcher. Willie Dustus, we'll find out.
Yeah.
Tune in.
No,
That's like when there was
like
the
Justice.
legitimate quarterback named like Kenny Pickett, and it's like
That's good.
your name
That's-
might as well be like, does he throw an interception?
Yeah, nominative determinism.
He did a lot.
Tight.
Yeah. No, I mean the weird thing here to me too is like that you said he got found out because he tried to get a government ID. It's like, dude, you just don't get it. Like,
Well, he had-
at this point, just make a fake ID. You're
He
already
maintains,
playing.
like IDs for both names for like 30 or 40 years. So
Yeah.
Like, he already had been doing it, and then they just happened to catch him this time. Like, it says in 1973, he received his first identity card under his, like, real name, and then 7 years later, he got one under his new name, presenting himself as the son of Richard Lancelot Dodd Canterbury Caterham Wickfield and Anne-Marie Dubois Vincent Wickfield. So, yeah, man, I wish they would tell us more, because they say he maintained both identities, using them for different purposes. I want to know. Tell me about those purposes, man.
One's just for at home. One's just when he's hanging out. You know,
he's hanging out with the boys.
Please
can't
call me Edward Albert Lancelot Dodd Canterbury Caterham Wickfield. That's what my friends call me.
He's got a pretty cool name to start with too. Jose Eduardo Franco dos Reis. That's pretty good.
That is good.
Yeah.
He's just a name hog.
Bobson
This
Doug
guy.
Nut. Yeah.
He wants as
Give me
many
some of
names
these
as
names.
he can.
Yeah, he's just racking them up all there. Yeah, I mean, it's also, I feel like, got to be real egg on your face that of all the like degrees and exams to pass, literally the judicial exam is like, you guys should have fucking known. Like, you guys,
Yeah,
it
I
looks
guess they,
extra
like,
bad.
attended law school under this other name. Like, aren't you the guys who are supposed to determine when people commit crimes? Kind of the point of it.
Yeah, that didn't pop up on your system or whatever. Nothing showed up, you know. That's the thing too, is like, I don't know, if you pass a judicial exam and get through law school with it, that's kind of, you earned it. You did a lot more than other people did for their names.
It
Let him
doesn't
keep
say
it.
it doesn't say he like cheated on the test or anything. He just took it under a silly name.
Yeah. Well, he's going to fail now when they take away the points for getting his name right. You know, like that shit people always said about the SATs. Mm-hmm. They're like, 800 points is just getting your name right, which I don't think is true, but would be interesting if it was.
True. I do not think that is true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Let him have it. What's wrong? Who cares?
Let him have it.
Yeah. Let him have it.
Number one?
Number one.
And this week's number one reason to say what a time to be alive.
Number one this week comes to us from Bookmark 19, yet again, in the Discord. This is a little science thing that has got an incredible phrase in it that I cannot... I will describe the scientific findings, and we will go over them, but the name is this phrase is just locked into my brain forever. And it's a study that they did on roundworms. And what they found out is that, to save the phrase, I'll say worms that have not reproduced yet, who have not engaged in coitus.
They have not sired any worm offspring.
Yes. They take a lot more
no
risks.
Heirs. No worm heirs.
They have no airless, maidenless worms. They take more risks.
Bitchless worms.
No bitches worms. Turns out no bitches worms take a lot more risks than bitches worms do. And the reasoning is, as you'd think, is because they are just really want to fuck. They're ready to do it all. Yeah, they're desperate. They stink of it.
All.
I mean, this is a you know biological imperative. Makes sense, right?
Ready to do it all.
Scientists report them emanating a stink of desperation, reeking of.
These worms are ready to suck and fuck. They can't wait.
These worms respond to texts way too fast.
Way too double texting always.
These worms are incredibly down bad. The scientists have found these worms are hurting for it. These worms need to shoot poison, said the scientists. That was, if nobody saw that tweet, commemorating when Janet Jackson used to invite old guys on stage.
Miscellaneous unks to shoot poison on stage.
Miscellaneous unks to shoot poison. And it's her touching a guy who looks like Jared from Subway, and he's like clearly shooting poison.
She would like put them up on like a cross. She would like tie them up and then basically give them a lap dance on stage, and they would shoot poison. It's really something. It's really something. Yeah. Check it out.
So
check out
speaking
those
of those
poison.
Speaking of those worms, So yeah, this is worms, but the phrase they've used is they've described them as virgin male worms, which is just real Dom energy. That is something you gotta get paid to get called. All right, yeah. Maybe that's what these worms are doing. These worms are tanking this study so that they would get called virgin worms, and they could finally, get it off.
They're just like they're the little guys that are in Ursula's cave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The poor unfortunate souls.
Yeah. Man, Ursula,
You
what
look into
a piece of work.
Man, what a pill, Ursula.
She, yeah. One of
That
the
lady's
real
nuts.
I thought she
Yeah.
was cool.
No, well, I'm just saying that's the James Adomian bit, right? About how that was the heyday of just the most insanely campy, like,
Yeah, the gay villains.
Yeah, exactly. Scar and Ursula.
I mean, she's just like divine, basically.
Yeah.
Like, that's Ursula's look. Like it really is just like, okay, there it is.
Octopus divine. Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, they were leaning into it hard.
Someone pointed out, because Stav and John Waters were on John Mulaney this week, and someone pointed out Stav was born 9 months after Divine died. And they're like, this can't be a coincidence.
There's no such thing.
Baltimore's
Divine.
finest, man.
There's no such thing as a coincidence.
Yeah.
My favorite part of that episode was Stav repeatedly saying to Neil Katyal, "Come on, dude! Like you don't beat off." Like, like something along
That
those
explains
lines.
it, because I saw a clip of after he asked him that and just everyone being like, whoa, we don't do that. That's what, look, this is why getting independently successful, that you get people who can ask somebody like that if they beat off. It's good stuff.
Like
don't
in the
beat
bathroom at the Supreme Court, and it's like I don't think do that. He's like, "Come on, dude! Everybody does that. You don't do that." It's like we are. Yep, this is good. Yeah.
You gotta, they get weird about it. I did a really bad show, but it was fun. And there was an incredibly drunk judge in the front row. And I got to finally ask him, I was like, the robes are really comfortable, right? And he was like, yeah, they're really comfortable. I was like, I fucking knew it. They seem so nice. Like, it's such a fancy job and such an important job, and they get to wear a robe.
I mean,
I would love to wear a
you
robe.
wear,
You know, I
like,
really work from
Sam
home, so I
Alito.
can.
They wear like a suit under the robe. It's not like, you're not just
don't
like
have to.
showing up in like Hugh Hefner in the judge room.
They're bottomless.
Nobody's
under there.
checking that
They're
they're wearing a
bottomless
suit
under there.
They could be wearing one of those little bibs, a little
a dickie,
bib.
a judicial dickie.
I'd wear a dickie. I'd wear a dickie and then a sweatsuit under there. I'd be comfy.
You don't know.
I'm also saying this as someone who is a writer who works from home, so I am like literally now. Like,
Could be
probably
dressed like
more
a
comfortable.
big baby under there.
Yeah,
big
I could be wearing a
diaper,
big diaper.
safety pin in the big diaper. Love
Like
that.
cloth diaper though. Cloth
Yeah,
diaper.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Or
wonder
you,
if
or you just
I
have
mean,
like a like a Grinch costume or something, but no, not the head. So you're just like green, and no one knows but you.
man. Wonder
Furry
if you
judge
ever.
coming this
Wonder if
fall to
there's a-
NBC.
You guys think there was ever like a judge? You got diarrhea. You got to go to the bathroom.
I don't think
But
there's
you don't
ever
want
been
to
a
say
judge
that.
that had diarrhea.
They're not allowed. They get the pill.
get
They get the special pill
They have
that
access to the
important
pill.
people get. Yeah. But just it would be funny to pretend like there was like a big disruption in the court when there wasn't. So everyone's being totally cool and you're like, order. All right, that's it. We're taking a 15-minute break so everyone can calm down. And I'll be back in my chambers.
Time to cool off, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Getting invited to
Order,
the chambers. You ever
order!
been
Just
in-
yelling, order! I need a recess. While nothing is happening, while just
Yeah.
like in the middle of just like calm questioning. Yeah.
Yeah. That seems it's probably a lot less fun in real life. I'm just thinking, well, Law and Order is not that fun in general, but when the
It's
judge,
a little fun.
yeah, when the judge is like, you guys got to come back here, and then the judge is just like, you guys are being assholes. Like, I think that's he's like, well, what in the hell is going on out there?
I do
Yeah?
think that is like a fun part of being a judge is that you do get to be mean to lawyers. Like that. That does seem. No offense, Patty. Does seem like a fun power to have.
Oh yeah. I'd love to look down my glasses at somebody.
You get to
Excuse me,
treat
sir.
like multinational corporations and stuff basically like toddlers. Like I was like, why are you fighting? Why are we here? Like a discovery dispute or something.
Why are you
Yeah, it's
wasting my time,
Right.
Mattel or
Oh,
whatever?
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Oh man, I would love to get just for one day. Just get dismiss. I would love to dismiss emotion just once. Oh, it would give me such a
Dismiss.
good feeling.
Whack that
This
gavel.
I find no basis for this. Bam. I mean, the gavel's good by itself. Shelby, we can clearly never give a gavel to. This also isn't a soundboard. Shelby's going crazy with a gavel.
Objection. Thinking outside the bun. Overruled. I'm going to allow this. You're on thin ice, counselor. Yeah.
That would also be fun to say. You're on thin ice, counselor. That would.
You get a lot of that. You know, that's part of the genius of Liar Liar is that you get like that, like the Law and Order flavor because there's a lot of courtroom scenes with the Jim Carrey. Like, there's a reason this guy got paid $20 million a movie because he's just like putting it on his back, just going completely insane. Like, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's someone else said a bit about judges always allowing it. In the movie.
They'll allow it.
They'll allow it.
They do.
They'll allow it. You know,
They're sustaining
I would allow
shit.
nothing.
It's very cool because you have like something that's like incredibly inflammatory gets said, and it's like the jury will disregard. Like, you wipe your mind.
Oh, okay, We'll just forget that was said. Yep, no problem.
Yeah, sitting the jury like
Delete
eyes
that.
rolling back
We're
into my
not
head.
just a bunch of fucking guys.
Delete
It's fine.
There's a very funny comic.
That information is devastating, but procedurally not allowed, and is not allowed to influence your opinion on what happened.
Oh man, I think the comic Gastor Almonte has a story about getting put on he fell asleep on a jury repeatedly, and he was like, how do they not dismiss me? Like, it's crazy that someone wakes you up as a jury member and you're not made to leave.
He had those
One of the
glasses
only
on.
times, because my dad's a judge, one of the only times I ever was in his court when a trial was going on, the bailiff had to go wake up a jury member. And I was like,
I'd be falling
I'm never
asleep.
coming back here. It's very boring.
It is probably boring, and if it's not boring, it's because it's horrible. You know?
Yeah. It's not,
They're not whooping. They're no cool.
It's
probably
either
lot
a
of-
very evil crime that is white collar bullshit, or it's a devastating, violent thing that's really interesting. So no good.
Yeah, we got the Homer Simpson glasses, the I'm awake glasses, the fully awake.
The satisfied ones, which is the second one. Like, that's after he gets caught the first time, and then he's got the smug lower eyelids, and he's just kicking back.
Placidly
It's good.
observing.
And two guys that I are never seen before or again. This guy with the goatee, the juror in front of him, and the bailiff or the cop are just not characters in The Simpsons otherwise, which I find very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, these virgin worms, they're so excited we're talking about them and calling them that. They're thrilled.
We're giving them too much attention, you know. I mean, they're doing that, and it's I don't. Again, this is interesting to know, but it feels like more of a confirmation than anything else. It's
scientists have discovered these worms are down bad.
Yeah. Oh, they're climbing on top of the dorm to throw down a banner or something. Yeah.
These worms
They're gathering in groups and being rejected from frat parties. But they keep
They're
going
playing
out.
hacky sack on the lawn.
They keep going out like this. This is not. They do this every Friday and Saturday.
The worms have formed their own fraternity for nerds. They had to shut down the experiment because the worms formed a subreddit, and they were like, "This is not good. This is going badly. We're gonna take care of this." And apparently, just when you thought that they'd been disrespected enough by being called virgin worms, this is also the nematode is apparently this. So they can. That's better than nematode. Virgin nematode.
Virgin
Bring back
nematode is
nematode.
rough. Yeah.
Nematode, classic
Nematode is
90s insult that you had to look up. That's, when somebody's hitting you with that one.
Yeah. But held up better than most 90s insults because most of them just turned out to be
that is for sure
horrible.
Only offensive to nematodes, which they can't hear this podcast, so it's probably why they're virgins. Only cool
There's one
people listen to
nematode.
this podcast.
One nematode with tiny headphones on. Oh, come on! I listen. I'm a patron. I've been a Patreon supporter since you launched.
People don't know this. Iguana helium cube, nematode.
Nematode. Wow. Small world.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of something they should send up into space, put an iguana helium cube up there.
Mm-hmm. It was in a little beaker.
Yeah. Aw, a little beaker.
No, we
Yeah,
did.
we're having a show in a beaker.
We did meet Iguana Helium Cube. Shout out to Iguana Helium Cube.
That's true.
Yeah,
Not a nematode.
Not a nematode. Not
Setting
at
the
all.
record straight.
Find our Patreon bonus episodes, merch, Discord, and more at whatatimepod.com. And follow us on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at whatatimepod. Check out Cap's other podcast, Lie, Cheat, and Steal, about liars, frauds, thieves, and bullshitters. Theme song by Naughty Professor. Thanks for listening, and best of luck.
Thank you for coming to my Austin shows if you did that. I hope some of you did. Hey, it was great to meet those of you that came. Now, if none of you did, you're going to feel bad. I have nothing for this week, though.
I got nothing going on, but my calendar just informed me it's going to set up automatic notifications for everything on my birthday's calendar, which I believe was imported from Facebook. So my phone is about to be unusable.
That sounds cool.
Thanks.
I would say follow us also on Blue Sky.
That's right.
That's the main place that I interact with us at this point.
Yeah, I feel like most of the people who listen are not checking Twitter all that much anymore. So come on over. Come on over to Blue Sky.
Yeah. I'm off of all of it, to be honest, so I'm sorry if I'm not getting back to people. It's not good on there. Bring back Forum BB. Let's start a Forum BB.
Let's do it.
I guess it's Discord. We already have that.
Forum Balding Baby.
Let's start Merlin BB.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.